She woke up every morning to the obnoxious chirping of her alarm clock, a harsh reminder of the life that awaited her. A life she never truly wanted, but somehow ended up with. She went through the motions, the dreary commute, the suffocating office air, the endless emails, her spirit slowly sinking with each passing hour. Her job, a prestigious one by all societal standards, felt like a gilded cage trapping her in its deceptive comfort. The work was uninspiring, her colleagues distant, and her boss, a man who seemed to have mastered the art of sucking the joy out of everything. She felt like a cog in a well-oiled machine, her individuality slowly being eroded. She yearned for something more, a life filled with passion and purpose, but the fear of the unknown kept her tethered to her current reality. The pressure to conform was immense. Family and friends constantly reminded her of how lucky she was to have such a stable job. Most people would kill for this opportunity. They'd say their words like invisible chains binding her to her misery. She felt like a failure for even entertaining the thought of leaving. She tried to ignore the discontent, to convince herself that she was being ungrateful. She buried herself in work, hoping that the sheer volume of tasks would drown out the whispers of her soul. But the more she tried to silence it, the louder it got. The walls of her self-made prison were closing in, and she knew she had to escape before they crushed her spirit completely. One day she stumbled upon an old journal. As she flipped through its pages, filled with her childhood dreams and aspirations, a long-forgotten feeling stirred within her. A seed of discontent buried deep under layers of societal expectations and self-doubt began to sprout. She remembered her younger self, the girl who dared to dream, who wasn't afraid to chase the impossible. That night she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing. She realized that she had spent years living someone else's idea of success. She had traded her happiness for stability, her passion for security. The realization was both terrifying and liberating. For the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to imagine a different future, one where she was the author of her own story. The seed of discontent blossomed into a wildfire. She started to reconnect with her long-lost passions. She dusted off her old paintbrushes, the vibrant colors, a stark contrast to the dullness of her office supplies. She spent her evenings writing, pouring her heart out into stories that had been trapped inside her for far too long. With each stroke of paint, each word she wrote, she felt a piece of herself returning. The fear that had held her captive for so long began to dissipate, replaced by a quiet sense of determination. She knew she couldn't keep living a lie. She owed it to herself, to the girl she once was, to break free. The decision, once made, felt inevitable. She walked into her boss's office, her heart pounding in her chest. With a deep breath, she uttered the words that would change her life forever. "I quit." Her voice, though trembling slightly, held a newfound strength, a conviction that surprised even her. Walking out of the office building that day, she felt lighter than she had in years. The weight of expectations, the fear of the unknown seemed to vanish into thin air. The world was awash in vibrant colors, the air buzzing with possibilities. For the first time, she felt truly free. She took a deep breath, the air sweet and intoxicating. Looking up at the vast expanse of the sky, she felt a surge of exhilaration. The world was hers to explore, her dreams hers to chase. She had taken a leap of faith, and now she was soaring. Her journey had been long and arduous, but it had led her to this moment, this feeling of unbridled freedom. As she walked towards the setting sun, she knew that this was not the end, but rather a beautiful beginning. The beginning of a life lived on her own terms, a life filled with passion, purpose, and the intoxicating freedom of flight.